What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 99 of the Tastecast, weekly podcast where we talk about things, react to things, do a bunch of random shit. My name's Seth.
I'm Josh.
And just me and Josh today. This whole month's been weird, I know, but we're here, we're hanging out, we're having fun, we're talking, so let's do it. Quick reminders to play Wipeout, Omega Collection, and Sniper Elite 4, both offer for free on PlayStation Plus. Download those, play those, come back at the end of the month for Plus Club. Let us know your opinions on those games, we'll let you know ours. And our game of the month randomly picked is Ori and the Blind Forest. It's a 2D Metroidvania-esque kind of very whimsical, cartoony looking platformer. Play that, come back at the end of the month for game of the month, and let us know what you thought of that game as well. We have a Discord link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all time, and we're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us. And just a quick reminder as well, I do have streaming back on YouTube. I tried to do it over the weekend. It didn't work, so I'm working on that, but once we get that figured out, I'll let you guys know. So when I stream, you can watch me on YouTube or Twitch all at the same time. Tastecast, so we typically start with what we've been playing. My list is pretty short, but let's start with you since you haven't been on a little bit.
Recently, so I kind of got the fighting game itch. I decided to re-download Tekken 7. I got the character packs for that, so I got Negan, and I specifically bring him because he has his bat.
Yeah, you're telling me he has a weapon.
Yeah, which the only other person in Tekken, if I'm not mistaken, that has a weapon is Yoshimitsu.
Both cheaters.
But anyway, as I was swinging the bat around, I was like, man, Soul Calibur is going to play better than this. So I downloaded Soul Calibur, and I started playing that again. And it's like riding a bike. And enjoyed that for a little bit. And then I thought, let's get into... And then I saw Streets of Rogue. So I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll just do it. So I bought that, started playing that.
So for anybody who hasn't played that or heard of that, what is Streets of Rogue?
Streets of Rogue is like a top-down roguelike. You pick a character. Each character's different. There's like 30 of them. Anywhere from a comedian to a gorilla. And they all have different...
It's varied.
Yeah, they have like abilities. Some have abilities. Some have like the cop or the doctor can't use weapons. He's a pacifist, so he won't use knives or anything like that.
So what does he do?
He has a tranq gun. That's stealthy. We'll put him to sleep in 10 seconds. But for chasing you, that's a long fucking 10 seconds.
10 seconds is already very long.
Yeah, because they'll beat the shit out of you. And then his special is if you walk up behind somebody, you can just put them to sleep. So then they're just like knocked out.
So he's more of like a stealth character?
Yeah. Yeah, and, cops won't attack him on sight because there are some that cops will just be like, and start attacking on sight. So it's and then you're given random missions throughout a randomly generated map, and the rewards is chicken nuggets, and those chicken nuggets are used to buy new traits, new items, stuff like that for your runs, and then you... It has the same roguelike feel as, let's say, like Binding of Isaac. There's slums, industrial, something else, and then something else. So there's 4 worlds, and there's 3 floors apiece.
Oh, weird. Yeah, when I first watched the video on it, they gave me the impression that you were like in a city.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you
full
are.
on like. Well, like you go to the elevator, and then just teleport you out of there. So you're pretty much just going to levels of big cities, and the cities are random. Sometimes you walk in, there's just a bunch of dudes that are just like sitting there watching TV in their living room. But then as a gorilla, I punched a guy through a wall, and he like landed in their living room. We started brawling in the house, and then I broke the stove with the crowbar I had, and the house just lit on fire. And then everybody else was freaking out in their little house because it was like a pod of 4 or 5.
Sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, it gets... if you're not careful and you piss off a lot of people, it turns into a battle royal real quick. So, and sometimes people will run from fights, if they know they're getting their ass kicked in, and sometimes people won't. So, cops will always just start to wreck. So, I mean, they're not like super like powerful, but they do have a nightstick.
The game kind of reminds me, and it's not obviously just not even fucking as close as hardcore, but oh god, Hotline Miami.
Yeah.
Kind of like every time I like watch it or like hear about it, kind of reminds me of that. Like, because in that game you're just fucking kicking doors in and fucking bash people's heads in and shoot people and shit. So
Yeah, but it caters to almost every character, since they're different. It forces you to play a different way, so it kind of caters to anybody who wants to play really anything, and it gives you bonuses for all that. So it doesn't like it doesn't penalize you for playing a different way or for playing a way they don't intend it to be.
yeah, I would hope so. That's good to hear.
So like the thief starts out with a window cutter because there's windows, so you can run up and tap on the glass and it'll the guy in the house will run over and check the window out real quick. Like I've done that and then cracked him in the face with a bat and just killed him in his house through the window.
Damn.
And then you can crawl through the window, but it takes life. But if you have the window cutter, you can just cut the window out.
Kind of reminds me of that zombie game. It's like top down. Zomboid, Project Zomboid, yeah. Had like not quite that same system, but like if you break a window and you don't clean out the glass, you'll like cut yourself going through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's fun. I mean, there's multiple, like there's a lot of places have air filters on the outside and you can dump fucking shit in them to poison whoever's inside.
Oh, that's cool.
There's I've just set up a mine to get through a wall. It was like a big steel wall, and I just set up a mine instead of going through, because they have like security systems and cameras and shit like that. And I was like, I ain't dealing with this, and I just set up the mine and blew out the wall, and then went in and grabbed what I needed to grab and just left.
It's cool that the game allows you to get creative with the way you play it, because the game like that typically is just like, if it's like some kind of top-down game like that where you just run around and kill stuff, you're just gonna be shooting like I said before, like kind of like Miami or fucking Hotline Miami. You're just kind of running around shooting people and shit. It's all this like smaller scale action, whereas in that it sounds like you can kind of like take your time to plan something out or something.
Oh yeah, you can so like let's say I'm playing the shapeshifter, because there's a shapeshifter, and do I bribe and anybody in the whole game or in the whole area you can talk to and do something with them, so either bribe them or hire them to your party, and then you can tell them to like attack specific things and they'll go do it. Until they get too hurt, and then they're like, I don't want to hang out anymore, and then they bail. But you can heal them and stuff like that, and you can get perks for better teams. And like the gorilla, every time you free another gorilla, because they're all over the map, there's just scientists working on fucking gorillas. One, he gets more experience every time you murder a scientist, and scientists will they just instantly hate each other. But every time you free a gorilla, he's like, thanks, man, and he just joins your crew. So like after like the third floor, I had like a Planet of the Apes thing where I was like hanging out with like 6 other gorillas.
Fucking taking over the world.
Yeah, and then you punch one, and then you punch something, and then they're all like crazy, and then they just start decking the shit out of everything, and it gets wild. There's a lot of stuff I've probably even forgotten about in the short time that I've played it that I can't even tell you guys.
Probably with the amount of shit that fucking you've just said already. I can't imagine me, at least, remembering everything about that. But that sounds pretty cool. Yeah. I'm still stuck on you starting that whole fucking story, though, with that you were playing Tekken and you were playing a guy with a bat and you were just swinging the old bat. And then that just kind of made you think to go play Soul Calibur. I like how you're just fucking sitting there cracking skulls with the bat. And you're like, I'm going to go play the game with the weapons.
Yeah.
Because in that, it's just like people punch each other, and then that guy shows up with a bat in his hand.
Yeah, but then thanks to Streets of Rogue, I re-downloaded Dead Cells and Enter the Gungeon.
Good.
For some reason, I'm into roguelikes.
Dead Cells is dope.
I've always been into roguelikes, but I've just been scratching that itch today, or now. I've been playing Sniper Elite 4, and that game's fun, of course. I mean, you guys will talk about it at the end of the month.
Later, yeah. So. But yeah, that game is pretty fun. So spoiler alert. But yeah. Anything else you've been playing?
Not really.
No. Yeah, my schedule this whole month's been fucking hectic as hell for me. So like I haven't had a whole time to play a whole lot. Fucking schedule for the channel's been all crazy and shit. So I feel that. Yeah, I got to pick that game up. I originally brought it up a while back when it released. I was like, oh, we should pick this up and play it. And you did, I didn't. So I should probably fucking follow through on that.
Oh, it has
Oh my god, that scared me.
has 4-player local co-op and internet co-op.
Yeah,
So
yeah, which is dope because that game sounds fun already. So playing with somebody else would be pretty cool. Be able to mix. I'm assuming you'd play as different characters, so you'd be able to do different things and shit, which would be pretty cool. Yeah, I gotta pick that up. So this week, I've been playing. I'm gonna throw out the ones that I can't talk about a whole lot first. I played Wipeout. I owned this game before it came out on PlayStation Plus, so I've already played it prior quite a bit. I play this game typically in VR, FPS VR, so this game is one of the games that if you look up like what's some of the best games to have for PSVR, this one always comes up, and I think it is definitely a good example of how a full game can be all in VR. I'll keep it there, but I have played this game. I own it. Playing it this month, and yeah, we'll talk about that in Plus Club. I've been mostly playing, and take this as you will, almost the whole month, Sniper Elite 4. Even in my time that I come home from work and I'm tired as fuck, I'll throw on Sniper Elite 4 and just kind of run around and just watch the X-ray shots and shit and fucking just kind of enjoy the freedom of not really having to worry about a storyline too much and just get some real fun visceral fucking gun action in a game. So, like I said, take that as you will. We'll talk about that more in detail. I'll tell you my opinion, but I've been playing pretty much it all month. So, yeah. Also played a little bit of Ori and the Blind Forest. I'm hesitant on playing that, even though it's getting later in the month, because I want to stream it. And as anyone knows, I have my computer. I have my other computer. Recently, I got the other computer fixed and working, but I'm getting it all set up, and I had to reset up OBS, and I had some of the settings off, so when I tried to stream, some weird shit happened. So once I get that set up, I will be streaming more regularly, but that's one of the games I want to stream. I want to try and stream that from beginning to end. Apparently, it's only 8 to 15 hours, something like that, which you'd expect from a game like that. So it'd be an easy game to play, over the weekend. So hopefully I can do that soon. But yeah, that's our game of the month, and you make sure to play that. But at the same time, if you haven't played it and you've been curious about it, definitely go check it out, because if anything, the gameplay you're probably gonna like, but visually it's fucking amazing. They did a great job with that game visually. So, and just tone and atmosphere, everything about it's just very artistic and whimsical, and it's really dope. Played Fire Emblem last night until fucking 4 in the morning. Very fun game. That game is fantastic at making you continue playing, because when you're not doing battles, you're running around a school fucking solving all sorts of Scooby-Doo mysteries, and fucking I was running around with a bag full of shit I found on the ground, and I was just trying to give it out to people. I was like, is this your thing? Is this your thing? And everybody's like, oh, that ain't mine. That ain't mine. And they're like, oh yeah, thanks. And in the game, you'll run around the school, and there's items on the ground you'll find, and when you pick them up, it's oh, this belongs to somebody who really likes training a lot. And you're like, who likes training? It's almost like testing your knowledge on the students at the school and stuff. A lot of times though, if there's a student I don't know anything about them, because there's 3 different fucking storylines in the game, where you get to know all these students, I'll just run up to them and I'll just go through my fucking list. And there's no. Oh, that's mine. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I just run off. So I'm like Santa Claus of fucking Fire Emblem. Combat's awesome. I really enjoy it. I'm playing the red fucking school. Forgot their name. Black something. Black Eagles. Yeah. Edelgard, who's the main leader chick. She's OP as fuck, but I love watching her. I've kind of made her into a giant fucking walking tank. And she just stomps her ass in and just murders everybody in one hit. It's very satisfying, but at the same time, she's just like a vampire when it comes to XP. So I try to keep her back while everybody else gets a little piece of the action.
Magic wrecks her.
Yeah, she's really weak to magic. It almost seems like once I changed her class, though, that happened. Yeah. 'Cause before that, she was just invincible.
Yeah, maybe that was just one of the weaknesses.
Might be a class thing, yeah. Because otherwise, that guy's just buff, or that class just buff for everything. But yeah, really fucking enjoying that game a lot. Like I said, there's so many micro things to do in it that, like I said, when you're not in battles fighting people, you're doing all sorts of shit and it's keeping you busy. And there's a lot of varied events. You can have little tea parties with people and shit, which I think are fun because there's so many characters in the game. It's like an anime. You want to fucking get to know every single one of them, and the game absolutely gives you the opportunity to do that. So that's been really fun. And yeah, I highly recommend that game to anyone who's into Fire Emblem or dating sims, because it feels like one somehow. It's very weird, but it's very cool. Played No Man's Sky. Josh forced me to do that. I've been curious to do that because the new update came out. And I've been like doing the Seth thing. I'm like, oh yeah, I should download that. I should play that. I'm gonna play that. I should play that. I'm gonna download that. And then Josh is just in my room, fucking just staring at me. He's like, you should download that. You should download that. You should play. You should play No Man's Sky. And then I started playing. He's like, you should play it in VR. You should play it in VR. Just up my ass.
Dude, sometimes I have to be
because I played it.
To shift, yeah.
Get the fucking the gears moving, because otherwise I'll just sit there to snipe fucking Nazis all day. It's a very Seth activity. Yeah, so hop back into No Man's Sky. Deleted my old shit because I was like, this is the big update. I need to see if everything's that different or not. First off, the last time I played this game in any significant capacity was when it first came out, and played for like a couple hours. Ran around planet, got my ship fixed, flew out of orbit, flew back into orbit, and I stopped playing the game forever. Came back like 2 updates ago because I was like, this is the one that's going to fix the game. And I played, I'm like, that's a little better, but it still has some issues. I spawned on a planet that had robots who might have been bugged, but they were just killing me left and right as soon as I spawned. So that was really annoying. And I was like, I'm done with this game because it was just not fun. It was the opposite of fun. It was annoying. So yeah, hopping back into this because the VR mostly, I feel like they're finally at the beginning of what this game. This feels like the starting point of what it should have been when it came out. 100%. Like if you released this game today, with what you said back in the day, this is what the game should have been for sure. Its systems are fleshed out. It's more streamlined. The beginning has like a proper tutorial, even though there's like fucking 3 menus that'll open up telling you to hit all sorts of buttons at once. And I'm like trying to read all 3 of them and one will fade out and shit. I'm like, one at a fucking time, dude. At least the important ones will stay there and it tells you what to do. Like pretty specifically. It's nice. So I was never lost outside of just like having a lot of words to read. I was like, oh shit, but it wasn't that big a deal. And yeah, I got my ship fixed up in like 10 minutes. Which was way faster than the first time I played the game. And because it's literally just telling you, go over there, do this, do that. I started going, and the game felt less like a mystery of like, you're on this planet, figure it out. And more so like, you're on this planet, get your ship fixed, let's explore the fucking universe. And I was like, okay, that's an interesting change of pace almost. I played it in VR a little bit. I think it's a mid-range example of what VR can be. I don't think they did it. I mean, it's cool that it's there, 100%. I'm not going to talk shit about it, but it does feel a little hollow. It feels like you're more so just kind of like standing in the world while the game is playing around you. Your HUD and all that shit's just floating in front of you like in a circular bubble shape, and your gun's floating out in front of you, but I don't know how to aim it yet. I don't get it. Maybe you have to have the Move controllers. I have them. I just didn't have them hooked up. I was playing with the controller. But it felt like I was more so like walking with my character and I was freely able to look around with my head, but not really like immerse myself in the world. I don't know if that makes sense or not. The graphics also were worse, and they're always going to be worse on VR because you have 2 different displays that are playing the game twice. So you have to lower the graphics. But, Wipeout looks really good in VR compared to this game. And some games look way worse too. So it looks fine, but especially at the distance, things start getting really fucking blurry. But again, this game is like a game where you land on a fucking whole planet and explore it. So they probably didn't have VR in mind when they first released it. So it's neat that's even there. I hope they improve on it. That'd be great. But outside of that, it's there if you want to play it in VR. I think it would be an interesting way to play it. But I think I would prefer playing it just third person over that. But definitely a game I want to try and hook up with friends and play with, just because I know there's like hubs now where you can get missions and go do shit now.
Actually, yeah, they had them in the last update, the last major one. Was it Next?
Yeah.
Yeah. They had them in Next, but like for some reason I was like, these are janky. These are janky as fuck. Like I'd go and I'd do it, and then all of a sudden it'd show me that I'd have to go on the other side of the solar system, so I'd go over there, and then I'd have to go back to the space station. I didn't even do anything yet. And I go back to the space station. It's telling me to go back out to the solar system. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I tried like 2 or 3 missions. They were all just terrible. Like I didn't. It seemed like they just threw them in there to throw something in there.
When he was describing them, I was just like, good for you.
Yeah.
Because he's like, we got missions where he's got that weird smile. He's like, where you go after a bounty? And he's like, then we got, I don't know, I'm almost doing like a fucking the guy from District 9. Fucking, is the sweetie man coming? What's that guy's name?
Vicus.
I was about to say Spiegelman.
Vicus Vandermerven.
Vicus. Shoot! Or whatever the fuck he says. Gets pissed when he gets that black shit all over his face.
What is this cuck?
And what the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah, the Hello Games guy, Sean Murray. Well, he's lying through his fucking teeth. He's like, oh yeah, we got missions. He's like, where you go after a bounty. He's like, it's No Man's Sky, of course. So there's resource gathering missions. And then he's like, and we got other ones. And I was like, bless your heart.
Yeah,
I'm glad they're there, but at the same time, nothing super exciting. Although the one I thought was kind of neat was there's missions where you'll go build a building together, which I think is kind of neat. No, I mean it's nothing amazing, but fucking Fortnite before it became the battle royale game that it is, it's Save the World game. There was like mini missions where you play with people where you had to build a building together. So, and I always thought it was kind of an interesting mission type because it's just different than going and shooting something or going collecting something. It's like
that game had. I almost missed Save the World edition.
So do I. I mean, it's probably still there, but I just have no interest. Fortnite as a brand is just like not on my mind.
Straight to Battle Royale, and they killed fucking the only MOBA I really liked. And
yeah, Fortnite hurt me more than it helped me. So yeah, No Man's Sky is cool. Like I said, I want to play it some more. It still does feel like No Man's Sky, which is good, but like not amazing because I'm glad they're keeping that identity while trying to morph it into something a little more palatable for most people, what they wanted. They found a really good mid-range, but it still very much feels like No Man's Sky, just a lot more streamlined, a lot more guided, and hopefully a lot more fun. Yeah, and then the last game I played, that's kind of want to give a shout-out recommendation to you guys, too, is a game called Remnant from the Ashes. This is a game that last Friday I had, like... The only reason I ever heard about this game is because at the beginning of every month, we always talk about game releases, and it was one of the games on that list, and I remember saying, I don't know what the fuck that is. On Friday, though, I saw a video pop up talking about Remnant, and I was like, oh, what is this? Because I saw a picture, it looked kind of post-apocalyptic, and... it is a game made by, I think it's Gunfire Studios, something like that. It's the same guys who worked on the first Darksiders 1 and 2. And then after THQ went under, that development team got disbanded, and a bunch of those guys came over to Gunfire Games, made Darksiders 3, and now they made Remnant, and I think they're making the new Darksiders, so they're very busy. Also, did you read the thing recently that said THQ Nordic said that they are absolutely working on Time Splitters?
Yeah. They're like, we need, or they
just brought one of the lead designers from the original.
Yeah.
I was like, when I read that, I was like, fucking yes,
fucking time,
finally.
Yeah.
Like, if they were like, oh, yeah, we're bringing it back, I'd be like, that's cool. But then they're bringing someone who actually worked on the game over. I'm like, that's even better.
Yeah.
Because at least that guy was there. He knows, kind of what the philosophy of making that game was. So.
Yeah, and the vibe that it should have and stuff like that. No, I'm really excited for that.
I like how it's changed topic
not
instantly.
To digress, man.
Yeah.
But Time Splitters, that was lots of hours of just shooting shit.
It's one of my favorite early console fucking FPSs.
I would say it's like the GoldenEye of that next gen. Like just
100%. Yeah, it was made by the same guys.
Yeah, how
who worked on GoldenEye.
The multiplayer is and what you can do with it, and had map editors and shit like that.
Way ahead of its time. So much content too. You're constantly unlocking shit.
Yeah,
it was the Soul Calibur fucking fighting games, shooting games. Yeah. It was the Soul Calibur fighting games. It was better than it.
80 characters or something in it, and like then there's.
Although some of those character designs, I feel like I hope they don't, but some of those character designs, I feel like they'll take a step back on because some of the girls were. I mean, there were some guys too, but some of the girls were dressed certain ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would hope they wouldn't care and just do it anyway. Because fuck it, who gives a shit? It's a video game.
Yeah, they didn't seem like it. They didn't really seem like they really gave a shit. Plus, they didn't make girls in like a weird like negative light either.
Yeah.
They were just characters in a game like everyone else is. The only dork was Cortez.
There's a lot of dorks. There's Gingerbread Man.
Oh yeah, he's a dork. And the monkey.
And like from the side, he was actually thin.
Yeah.
So it's fucked up.
Odd
I remember
job.
I made a fucking a map where you had to fight a bunch of gingerbread men, and it was scary because like I always like to play with lighting in those, and like I'd have the lights turn off and on, or like slowly turn off and on, so it was like dark and shit, so you couldn't see things coming after you while you're trying to defend yourself, and those guys would like come run down the hallway sideways, and you see something move down there, and then they turn and there's there. And I'm like, whoa, like fucking, it was horrifying. Anyway, before we talk about that too much, I talking about THQ Nordic, they got like I forgot, it was like 60 games in the works.
65 or something games.
It's crazy. So that's just like that. I'm waiting for THQ Nordic to just fucking nail it with one of their games. So far, they're doing a lot of cool things, but
I don't mean to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
Saints Row. Did you hear that's coming back?
yeah, I don't know what to feel about that.
Saints Row to me, though, in the comments, it's like they better just bring back Saints Row 2. And I was like, fuck, finally.
Weird. I've never heard anybody say that.
I know.
No one gives a fuck
Everybody
about
loves 3, and I'm like, 3's awful.
2's the best, 100%. Although I did see a lot of people saying take it back a notch, which I agree with 100%. Because they just got too ridiculous to the point where like it lost its identity.
Yeah. Like
it was just like
4 you're a superhero game.
Yeah,
like,
and there's so many superhero games already, and like to mix like that like GTA feel with like superheroes, but also with like ridiculous comedy. I know it resonated with a lot of people. A lot of people love that game, so I'm not trying to talk shit about it. But I really loved Saints Row 2 a lot. And so 3 was a big departure, and 4 was this is how it is, motherfucker, shut up. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, well, like, and then 3 did so many things weird. Like they did Johnny dirty. Like he just died on the plane, and then that's just never spoken.
No
really
resolution. Again. Yeah, it's just, well, he's dead.
Yeah,
like, okay,
and then like
fuck.
all 3 of the gangs collapsed into like one.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, man, because I really enjoyed how every single one of them had their own story, and in 2 they were all good.
Yeah.
And like it wasn't just
2
like,
was fucking fantastic because you had 3 really interesting story arcs. That led into the last one, but like they're all interesting, all had their own varied missions, and there's just the cinematics are actually done really well. Like I actually liked the story, and I liked the visuals of what was happening stuff, especially back then. Grand Theft Auto wasn't doing the best job when it came to storytelling and its visuals. It's just people walking up and just close up shots of their faces while they talk and shit. Whereas in this, there's like fully fleshed out cutscenes and stuff like that, which
like
are
the
cool.
fight in the house with the triad type
With
like,
the swords
gang.
and stuff.
Yeah,
it was cool. And then
and
when
your
he
guy's like trying to fire at him, but he can't get a shot on.
there was cool choreography, and like that was all just thrown out the fucking window. Like I actually dug that because like you're already playing these ridiculous gangsters anyway, but in this like everyone seemed like a badass. So you start kind of like getting that like just kind of like embracing how like cool everything is. It's just like when you watch John Wick. John Wick just murders everybody, and you're like, I fucking love this, and everyone knows he's a badass. And he shows up and like, oh shit, that's him, and then he proves that's him. He just fucking bah bah bah, and everybody's dead, and you're like, yeah, I'm into this. Or if you like watch like 300, you're like, they're badass Spartans, and they fucking are. They're just beating ass. Same thing with fucking. It's a weird comparison, but like you get what I'm saying. Like in Saints Row 2, they're like, this is our fucking hood, this is our territory, and then they just go around just fucking everybody up.
Yeah.
Getting really weird and creative with shit like that end where he gets that redemption arc, not redemption arc, but he gets his fucking in the graveyard, kills that guy.
Oh yeah, and then throws him in the hole.
Yeah,
and just buries him alive.
Yeah, and it was dark. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And then like the whole thing where they put that guy's girlfriend in the trunk of that car that he's driving a monster truck.
Fucking kills her.
It's like I was like, this is fucking crazy.
This was good writing.
This is all Shakespearean shit. Yeah. This is like
and
it's
like
really
earlier
good.
And like it was dorky, but like you had to steal the radioactive waste, and you made that guy tattoo radioactive waste into his face, and it fucking
it's awesome. Like, I was like, this is crazy.
Turned him into half Phantom of the fucking Opera.
So just like that kind of like creativity and good writing to make that work, which they did. And then there's like superheroes. I'm like, come on, dude.
Yeah, or do whatever you want on a fucking hover bike. Yeah, we get it.
There's vehicles, but there's no reason to have them because you can fly.
Oh God, that's what pisses me off the most. When the game of the month, I think was, or maybe it was a Plus Clip game.
It was the fucking Get Out of Hell.
Yeah, the Get Out of Hell. Like I just see people like in cars, and you have the ability to be in there, and I'm like, why? There's no fucking reason.
Yeah, it's just that engine allowed it, so why would you take it out? Just leave it there. But fucking, it's like that's when I start feeling like bigger than it should be. I'm just like, what's the point of any of this?
Yeah, because that was one of the first games.
Start feeling like Crackdown almost.
Yeah.
Where you're just like running around causing mayhem and collecting everything.
Yeah. That was like in the first Saints Row. I really loved it because it was the first game where you can actually like you'd be able to change pieces of the car and like individual like pieces. That was back when Grand Theft Auto was just like you couldn't change pieces of the car. You just went into the paint spray and left.
Yep.
But this one, it had like a full auto body shop in it. So I just collected cars all the fucking time.
There was a time there where Saints Row was ahead of its time when it came to those kind of games. It was literally a great offering compared to Grand Theft Auto. Now, Grand Theft Auto just owns that market 100%. Anyway, Remnant from the Ashes is made by the guys who made Darksiders, and it's pretty cool. So it's being compared to being like a Soulsborne, and in a sense, it is in some ways. It has a bonfire system as you go. There's checkpoints. You sit down, you reaccrue health, your Estus flasks, which are just these hearts that you put into your chest, and enemies respawn. If you die, you go back to your last checkpoint, enemies respawn. So that's pretty much the most Soulsborne you're getting out of it. There's a couple of homages, in my opinion, visually to Dark Souls, like when you walk through fog doors to fight a boss. And sometimes you'll open doors, double doors like this, and that all reminds me of Dark Souls. But at its core, this game is a shooter. It's a third-person shooter. My guys run around with like a fucking sniper rifle and a pistol, or like a fucking bolt-action rifle and a pistol, shotgun, stuff like that. And then you have a melee weapon, which is more so if things get up close, you can fight. Although you could run around melee shit if you want to. Enemies will, at this point where I'm at in the game, start shooting back, which has become really interesting. I'm really into like those old school arena shooters like Quake and fucking, like Unreal and Doom and stuff like that. So I kind of get that vibe of having to be on your shit and dodge and move and shoot back and get those headshots to make sure your shots matter, because time is of the essence. They can kill you just as quick as you can kill them. So I really dig that aspect of it. The game, though, in my opinion, compares closer to a game like Warframe, because every time you start a campaign, you pick one of 3 classes, which are loose templates that you build upon, and you can go really any direction you want. As you keep playing, you'll get new traits you can level up and enhance your stats. But from there, when your campaign starts, every level is randomized based off a tile set generator, kind of like Warframe does. And the bosses you fight, I guess, are also randomized. So every time you go into a dungeon and you go to the end where there's a boss and it tells you what boss you're fighting, it's like a roguelike in that sense. You're now fighting this boss this time, and when you beat him, you continue on. But if you play the campaign again, apparently you might fight a different boss at that point, who might have... I think they even said that they randomize what they... Not necessarily the move set, but like if they'll have these enemies with them, or they'll be like fire element or poison or whatever. I have not confirmed that because I've only played my campaign so far. The game has multiplayer as well, 3-player. They said they tried 4, but it just didn't feel right. I can respect that. It's drop in, drop out co-op, so it's not, Dark Soulsy in the sense of like you gotta fucking meet your fucking friend's uncle in the blood moon of the 7th day of the month while finding you gotta be half dead with fucking. I don't know.
Just threw all that shit out in 3, though. They
yeah,
the password room system.
That's what I hear, which is good. I still haven't played multiplayer in 3, but the other 2 I tried to play multiplayer in, and I did play it, but like there's all these systems to it and shit. I'm like, fuck.
You had to be close to the same level and all sorts of
which is cool. I think I like the novelty of that, but at the same time, I want to play a fucking game with somebody. I don't want to have to go through a bunch of bullshit.
Now it'll just downgrade you.
Yeah. So yeah, the game is post-apocalyptic. The story's like in 1968, some aliens showed up called the Root, and they fucking took over. And it's 80 years later when you start playing the game, and you're essentially a part of the smaller human fucking population that's in hiding and trying to survive. And I assume you're trying to stop the Root. Otherwise, I don't know what the fucking story would really pan out to. The Root as an enemy kind of reminds me of the Locust in Gears of War, because they just like kind of showed up one day and started just killing everything. They first showed up as a root. It's like a tree system that started taking over the planet, and then after that, enemies start showing up from it. So it's kind of cool. And yeah, overall, I've been really enjoying it. I'm not super in love with it, but I actually really like it. It's like the shooting's really tight, feels really good. The weapons are cool, the enemies are cool. Every once in a while, you'll fight like actual humans. Recently, I fought against humans and dogs, which is kind of weird. So it was like a separate faction. They had dogs around my ass, and this guy who like was 1 foot away from me with a shotgun to my head. I didn't see him, but I hear him go, "Get him!" And as soon as he finishes, I was like, "Get him!" And he pulled the fucking trigger and shot me right in the side of the head. So this guy's like telling his friends to get this guy while pulling his trigger. Like he just like got a gun to my head. He's like, "Get him!" And he hit me. I dodged out of the way. So that was fun. Yeah, but a lot of different varied enemies. It also has a system kind of like Vermintide or Left 4 Dead where like a special infected, even though they're not special infected, but you know what I'm saying, will show up and kind of mix it up a bit, which I think is really neat because you'll hear like a weird like sound and then like you're like, oh shit, and you start looking around and some dudes are walking at you with blades and then when you shoot at him, he's fucking blocking your bullets and then he'll run at you, or like a dude with a Gatling gun starts unloading at you, or this weird specter guy you shoot at and he like kind of glitches and then he'll like teleport towards you, stuff like that.
Spawns fucking people all the time.
Then there's that one because there's 2 different ones that do that kind of thing. Okay. Yeah, that guy will disappear into the ground and come back out, and he starts spawning enemies constantly. So it's almost like a rush that you would experience in like Left 4 Dead, which can get pretty chaotic. I'll be like, oh, I'm doing great, and then start running out of ammo. I'm like, oh fuck. So yeah, all in all, I've been really enjoying it. I would definitely recommend it to anybody. It's $40 USD. So I think I was like $30 in Almexi money because he was looking at it. And yeah, I would definitely suggest picking it up if it sounds interesting to you. Watch some videos on it. I'm going to try and stream it again. I streamed it a little bit over on Twitch. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Really enjoying it. So pick it up. Only $40. Pretty cheap. It's like $40 is a weird mid-range of like between AAA and indie. Mm-hmm. And the company is like in that range of being between AAA and indie. Because I mean, Darksiders, a lot of people say is AAA game, and I agree to a certain extent. In fact, I would agree it's AAA, but at the same time, it seems like it seems like a smaller team AAA game, and not like an Uncharted. It's not even fucking close.
Yeah.
But I know it's a weird one to put up, but when I think of AAA, I think of like Naughty Dog because they're like the pinnacle of AAA in my opinion. Yeah, Remnant from the Ashes. Check it out. All right. So is there anything else you want to bring up before we move into things we're watching?
Streets of Rogue is only $20.
Yeah. So pick that up as well.
And it's already given me like 4 or 5 hours of value. So
if you got $60 to burn, you're looking at a AAA game, and you're like, I'm not going to support EA. Fuck the man. Then go pick up Streets of Rogue and the other one, Remnant from the Ashes. 60 ducks.
And the other one.
And I don't know. It's early as fuck. We don't normally film this early. All right, so we got 3 videos we're going to watch today. Kind of things I need to get. We're sitting here recommending games to you guys. I want to recommend some games to me because I'm always looking to buy the next fucking game. So we got 3 games I know nothing about, really. I've heard of most of them. Well, in fact, I would argue I'd heard of them all at this point because I pulled them up for the episode. But we're going to be watching a video for RAD, which comes out Tuesday. Greedfall, which comes out, I believe, in September. October
10. Yeah, October 9th.
Yeah. And a game called Synced Off Planet, which has been revealed preemptively before Gamescom, which is happening this week. So expect content for that. Well, it's NVIDIA did a showcase, and they're showing that game off because they're showing off ray tracing, which I finally am understanding why ray tracing will definitely be a next-gen thing because the lighting is fucking stupid looking. Anyway, so before we watch this video on RAD, this is the official launch trailer for PS4. I'll give you guys some info real quick. So this is Double Fine's game. This is coming out for everything. PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. I think this will, Xbox is all about fucking putting their shit on everything nowadays. But, this was in production before Double Fine got acquired by Xbox. Or Microsoft, so this is kind of interesting in that sense. Just so we can go through real quick so we know what we're even talking about. RAD is a 3D action roguelike set in a post-apocalyptic world where humanity has faced Armageddon not once but twice. Playing as a teenager protagonist, you must venture into the Fallow, an ever-changing radioactive wasteland filled with unknown and unspeakable creatures. It is here that you will find the solution to heal the world and transform the cracked, barren landscape into a lush source of new life. Yeah, so it says never-ending follow, journey into the follow, procedurally generated wasteland that holds the secrets of the past and answers for the future. Holding out for a hero. The future of humanity rests on your shoulders. Your characters will be many and all face permadeath in the wasteland, but ultimately one of them will save the world and become RAD. Don't stop believing. Oh, I get it. Every step you take will transform the follow from a cracked, barren wasteland into a verdant source of new life, opening up the path forward. Sounds interesting. To mutate is your fate. Radioactive toxins mutate your character into strange new forms, bringing them new powerful abilities that challenge you constantly to adapt your playstyle. Top run, take a daily challenge with predetermined quirks to see who among you is bad and who is rad by comparing yourself on the leaderboards. I'm bad. Bat to the future. Unlock righteous new bats that let your future heroes to start out with special advantages. Why am I reading that weird?
It's just because it is weird.
Okay.
That's bad English.
Yeah, that's bat English. Stow it or blow it. Bank tapes to strategically benefit your future runs, or just drop it all on sweet new kicks. For some, it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you look doing it. And I guess cassettes are like currency in the game. So sounds pretty neat. Sounds like a roguelike. Sounds like Double Fine. So we're gonna watch this video, we'll give you our impressions, and we'll move the fuck on with our lives. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1, and go.
Why does a teenager have to do this?
I don't know, because it's the 80s, so for some reason they watched a movie once that had 80. They watched fucking Stranger Things.
We have lived in the shadow of those who came before us. It is to the youth that we must turn now. Who will make this sacrifice?
That's scary. They're just sending kids to their death.
Happens, man. Sometimes you have to.
Danny DeVito.
Double Fine makes a lot of different kinds of games. They had that mech game. And
yeah,
all sorts of
they all
weird
have
shit.
like really neat ideas.
Yeah.
See it in your eyes.
Alright, this might be something.
Looks neat. There's a lot going on.
Visually, yeah, it's kind of.
You
Neat.
must be remade.
Although Kotaku and their master fucking writing journalists over there were like, "Rad isn't that rad?" I'm like, oh, that's good. New kicks. Ew.
Damn. There's a lot of neat, like, you can transform a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah. Almost reminds me of like an earlier gen game, and it's like ideas. I hate that. Rad.
Who will make this sacrifice?
So I mean that comes out Tuesday. So
God, that looks fucking dope.
does it have multiplayer? Did it say?
I can see it in your eyes.
I did. It just had badly written shit.
Even up.
PlayStation. Yeah. So that was rad. I'm not saying anything about multiplayer, but let's know in the comments though if you find that out. We'll probably know by the time it's released though.
I don't think it did if that was a launch trailer and it didn't show it.
Yeah, you would assume they would show a group of people playing together. So that'd be kind of shitty though. They should at least have like 2-player co-op.
Yeah.
What do we think of it?
I'm gonna buy that tomorrow. It looks cool. I really like how like when you transform, and he even showed him like back in town, and everybody was scared of him because he had like a snake head and shit like that. Mm-hmm. So it was really neat to see all the different weird powers, like that one time that had like dinosaur legs, so he ran faster, and like the one had a snake head, so it was like a new attack, and like it was.
There's one point where it looked like his head flew off.
who knows? Like, because there's one he's like Ghost Rider. There's one he's that fucking lightsaber wielding Minotaur or Centaur. And
Nothing bothered me.
so that I think it looks neat. It's very Double Fine just by looking at it. They always have really kind of neat ideas, like you said, like you brought up that Met game, which that was a tower defense, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and so
Brutal Legend.
Yeah, it really seems like they're kind of just doing another Double Fine thing, but this time in the roguelike sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think it looks really cool. I get weird about like 80s nostalgia because I think it's overplayed a bit. I love the 80s when it comes to like music and stuff. It's like one of the best eras ever. But people always like focus in on like 3 things of what was going on in the 80s, and it's like synths and fucking sneakers and Stranger Things. Neon. And yeah, and that's all cool and stuff. But it does get overplayed a bit. But so I mean, with that mentality going into that game, you could see how I would go, yeah, maybe this game's okay. But the gameplay and the imagination there was there for sure. It looked really neat. There's a lot of things that were going on, a lot of varied transformations and shit that looked really cool. It looks like it'll be a fun game. I'll be curious to see what it has going on with the multiplayer front, because games like this, unless it plays really well, maybe you'll play and let me know. But it's hard for me to get into. When it comes to roguelikes, I mean, like Dead Cells is probably my favorite, and then like Rogue Legacy, which is an older one, of course, but like that was my favorite until Dead Cells came out. And then, I really like Moonlighter. It's really good. I like roguelikes that have some depth to them and not just, let's see how far I can get. Mm-hmm. I like Enter the Gungeon, but that game is hard for me to play for a long time because I like the gameplay of it, but like it doesn't have the same kind of progression that I really like in a game like Dead Cells, where I feel like I actually am getting like, with all the things you're unlocking and stuff, it really feels like it's changing as you're going.
Well, that, and you literally see it, like, right in the beginning, there's that room.
Yeah.
And I remember when they first built that room, because I've been playing Dead Cells, not to be like, ooh, that guy, but...
Yeah, you told me about it fucking months before it fully released.
Yeah, and I've been playing Dead Cells since it went on to early access.
Yeah.
And when that room first started, there was, like, maybe 10, 15 bottles in there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because now there's so much in there, you might lose shit behind other stuff. Like, so
yeah, and it's a cool reminder every time you start your new run. You're like, oh shit, I got a lot of things to find when I play. So plus that game plays so good. Oh, I love the way it controls.
It's super tight. Yeah. It's
I feel like super powerful in that game. I don't feel like I'm like a lot of roguelikes. I'm like, oh god, this game's trying to kill me. Like you're playing Dark Souls, something like that. But in that game, I feel like actually, if I die, it's on me. They also have all these weird little systems. I watched a little video on it talking about how they wanted the game to play really well, and that there's like a lot of AI systems in the game. They're trying to make sure that things work well, so the game plays really smooth. So for instance, if you jump at a ledge, in a lot of games, you'll either, if you don't hit it correctly, you'll go and go down, or you have to land it perfectly. But in this game, even if you get close to it, your person will step onto it and shit. So like there's all these like small little refinements they added to that game to make the whole thing play really smooth and well, and it does feel really good the way you're jumping around and swinging and shit. So it always feels like it is on you if you die.
Yeah, and like it's not like a like Enter the Gungeon or Binding of Isaac, where right in the beginning you're like, I'm a weak little bitch.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah, I feel powerful from the get-go.
Yeah, like I'm sitting there wrecking shit, like with a spear or whatever. Plus, there's so many different types of weapons that it's, and they all have their own little thing. Like, and the synergy in between some. Like, there's one called Spartan Sandals, and you just do a kick.
Yep.
Just straight out, which will, if you kick
everyone online does not like that.
I know.
They're like, don't use that shit. It's a waste. They're like, don't even pick it.
You guys are bitches. Like, straight up. Like, quote me. They're
Josh quoted, you guys are bitches.
But if you kick anything off even a tiny little ledge as tall as your guy, it'll kill most shit.
Yeah.
Like I've just boom and kick shit off of fucking ledges and they just blow up. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, these things are the most overpowered shit in the world. And they stun every time they fucking hit. So they don't get an attack. And
I've seen people go so far as to say that if you unlocked that, you should probably just restart your game and fucking not touch it because it won't spawn. You're wasting spawns.
I'm just gonna say this real quick. Don't play a roguelike if you don't want the cards stacked a different way every fucking time. If you're gonna choose not to unlock that, you're just hindering your experience. And
oh, they're enhancing it. They're playing even better now.
My opinion,
they can't be held back.
It's weaker because you can't make something out of a bad item.
Well, and you don't have to pick it up either. So, but at the same time, they're just trying to make sure it's not in the rotation because they're fucking.
That's the game, man.
They're hardcore, dude.
That's what what roguelike is.
Yeah.
But anyway, then there's like a spear that if they're against a wall, it crits. Mm-hmm. So like you can kick them into a wall and then fucking crit them with the spear. Mm-hmm. I'm like, these are fucking amazing.
Yeah, my favorite loadout in that is I like to build up my purple, whatever the fuck stat that is, and technical or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I like to drop like turrets and stuff and traps that like get them stuck on the ground and then just unload into them and stuff like that. That I don't know. There's just something about that, and then being able to like shoot them from a distance. So I mean, like even what you're describing versus what I'm describing, completely different.
Yeah.
And I'll play any way I need to. I also really love the sword play in that game. Fucking, it's just fast and shit. It feels really good. But like leaping around and stuff, but I love the element of having traps you can throw out and stuff too. So we're not talking about that game though, but obviously we both like it because we have a lot to say on it. Definitely my favorite roguelike game. So yeah, if it has anything similar to that, it doesn't have to be the same game, but if it has some kind of sense of like reward for playing outside of new kicks, I'll be into it. So I will definitely be looking for what people have to say on it as it releases. Let us know in the comments what do you think about RAD. Also, let us know in the comments what games have you been playing. I didn't even ask you guys fucking that. So let me know in the comments what you've been playing. What do you think we should be playing? And then what do you think about RAD as well? Are you going to be picking it up? Or are you not going to pick it up? Isn't that your thing? Is it all your thing? Are you so into the 80s stuff? Or are you not into the 80s stuff? And yeah, let us know everything you're thinking about when it comes to RAD. Next game we're going to be watching is a game called Greedfall. Shout out to Almixai in the Discord. He was talking to me in stream about it. He told me to check it out, so I'm checking it out. We're going to watch this video. It's going to give us a gameplay overview, so hopefully it explains a little bit about the game. But before we get into that, real fast, this is coming out 10/9/19, so that's what, October 9th, for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So all the major, well, you know, Switch is great, but this is probably a more intensive game, it looks like, so maybe that's why it's coming out on other things. It says the old world is dying. The continent is polluted, overpolluted, and plagued by a deadly incurable disease. Its wary population grows desperate, but there is a glimmer of hope on the horizon. An island remote and hidden has been discovered. Tir Fradi, a land spared by the Malachor plague, a haven of life, wild and untampered by mankind. It is the promise of riches, but also represents the best hope for mankind to find a cure to the Malachor, which I'm assuming is that fucking disease. On the hunt for the cure, explore a fresh new world as alongside settlers, mercenaries, and treasure hunters, you set foot on this remote island seeping with magic. Sounds interesting. The world of Greedfall and its visual identity draw heavily from 17th century Europe. The architecture, costumes, weaponry, ambience, all take root in this period of history dominated by exploration, scientific discoveries, and booming culture in general. The world of Greedfall is not entirely down to earth. You'll explore an immense island seeping with magic. They love that word, seeping. It lands inhabited by magic-wielding its lands inhabited by magic-wielding locals, and fantastical creatures hide countless mysteries and secrets awaiting to be discovered. So we could probably go in further on the details, but we pretty much got an idea of you're going to an island to cure a disease, which I think is kind of an interesting story. Anything you want to say before we watch this video?
Is this that game a couple years ago? People were talking about like colonization.
That's an MMO I thought coming out from Amazon.
Oh, okay. All right, then
it does kind of sound like that though when I was reading that. I'm like, is that this game?
Yeah, okay.
Because I don't even see that. I don't know. I don't see shit. Denton. It's Focus Home Interactive, which I recognize, and Spiders. I don't know what the fuck that is. But yeah, let's watch this video. Let's get a better idea. Okay. 3, 2, 1, and go.
Welcome to Greedfall, the core role-playing experience by Spider Studio.
Okay, Spider Studio.
Explore the uncharted island of Tir Fradi, which holds promises of secrets, treasures, and adventure.
I love the style.
From the very beginning, you're given the freedom to make your character unique. Decide on your appearance from a range of options before diving into your starting skills, attributes, and talents.
And so the day has finally come. My royal fledglings are leaving the nest.
Though you can specialize, you're free to mix and match between all disciplines, ensuring you're prepared for all that lies ahead. Combat styles are varied. Quickly rush in and out of the fray using magic. Hold foes in place with stasis and unleash devastating spells before your enemies can even land a blow. Armor up and knock down enemies with slow but deadly two-handed weapons. Or parry your way to victory with a fast flurry of your rapier. If you really don't want to play fair, an array of traps, bombs, poisons, pistols, and rifles serve to offer even more control of the battlefield. During particularly intense fights, you might want to utilize the tactical pause option. This gives you unlimited time to select from your actions, spells, techniques, and potions to use on the target you wish. All styles of play benefit from the use of Fury, a potent resource that lets you unleash some of the most powerful attacks in the game. Greedfall features hundreds of pieces of customizable equipment, armor, and clothing, letting you delve deep into creating your own look and play style. Many of these are specific to the island's distinct factions, and may double as a disguise if subterfuge proves necessary. During quests and exploration, overcome challenges using stealth, deception, and combat, or a mix of all three. Struggling to gain entry to a guarded building?
You're in our territory.
The obvious solution might be to just kill all the guards in combat and loot the key, but that kind of decision-making could have messy consequences. Over time, you'll develop skills that offer alternative solutions. Knowledge in the sciences might allow you to craft explosives to blow out a wall, while a talent for lockpicking can gain a less destructive entry. Remember, using force is not always the best way to defuse a situation.
That drunkard is the only son of the Prince d'Orsay.
Diplomacy is often an option, though be mindful in your choice of companions.
Done with my mother!
A poorly timed outburst might ruin your chances at a peaceful outcome.
You're acting like a beast.
An ever-growing cast of colorful characters from a diverse range of factions joins you on the island. Who you bring with you into quests and combat is up to you, as you compose your party of 3 from the companions you've met so far. Develop your relationship with each party member.
And I hope that this singular appearance makes me more attractive to you.
Undertaking personal missions relating to their unique backgrounds. The strongest of friendships may even lead to romance. Thanks to your party's different, often conflicting beliefs and motives, it won't always be possible to please everyone. Ignore someone's needs for too long, and they might not stick around, becoming antagonistic in the worst of cases.
You get like a Divinity meets Dragon Age vibe.
Political diplomat, or battle-hungry warrior, zealous hunter, or champion of the natives.
Two kind of.
No matter what you choose, forge your own.
Well, yeah, it just seems better. But like when you like backstabbed, I was like, that was like a weird, not AAA animation.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of like Remnant. It's like it looks great graphically, but it doesn't have that polish that you'd expect from a higher budgeted AAA game.
Yeah,
but yeah, definitely. Yeah, overall I thought that actually looked really good. I feel pretty sold. The game looks like it plays well. I like the style, I like the story. I like the idea of being able to build my character with a skill tree. I liked the customization that they said. There's a bunch of shit you can put on weapon wise and armor wise, different factions, stuff like that. And yeah, overall, I mean, it's looking like a pretty full and fleshed out game. So
yeah, I'm a huge sucker for customizable stuff, especially stuff that makes you look different, whether it be armors, whether it be weapons. When they showed that little showcase of the weapons and stuff like that, I'm like, I'm going to get it. And then they said, like, at first when they were like, it's 17th century Europe, I was like, so everybody's going to have sabers and shit like that. But then they were like, oh, there's 200 weapons. And then it showed, like, a guy with a warhammer at one time. So, and of course, if you've been following the channel for long, I crave
buff guys.
Yeah. Being heavily armored and throwing my weight around. So,
cracking skulls.
It's one of my favorite things to do. So, No, but the game, the world looked cool. I think it's cool. There's like monsters and stuff in it.
And magic and stuff. It's weird to see those guys dressed up like that, fucking just
Yeah, shooting
throwing
magic.
shit.
Each style seemed cool.
Yeah.
I didn't see any. Did you see any archery?
No. Wouldn't there be
they're
guns?
just guns, but like, I wonder if there's like a long range silent attack.
Magic.
Yeah. Anyway,
Cast Thundara up their ass.
yeah, right.
Thundaga, whatever the fuck it's called.
He ain't silent when you're fucking fucking Gandalf.
I would say that was Gandalf.
All three of the fighting styles seemed cool, whether it be melee or.
Are you implying they're not fighting styles? Are they liars?
No, I'm implying that
They're just slapping
it's
each
the
other?
trinity between magic, ranged, and melee.
Yeah.
But being able to mix and match them, I think, was cool. You just start as like a template, and then you can kind of just go wherever you want with it. Being like, kind of harkens back to Divinity, to older tactical games where like you can have a knowledge of something, like old Fallout games.
Yeah.
And you can spec into that, and it's not necessarily like a combat maneuver, but like with dialogue or some mission choices, you can you have different paths that you can take because of it. So no, that game seems really cool. I'll be really excited to see what people say about it.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to hear about it as well. It's coming out soon. It looks interesting for any reason. I would find a game like that interesting. RPG, deep story, character building, stuff like that. But like I said, for me, it reminded me a lot of like Dragon Age in the sense that you're going to be walking around with like two other companions with you that I'm assuming will have their own stories and arcs and shit like that. But also being able to pause in combat or whatever gives it a tactical feel.
Yeah, that was very Dragon Age-y.
Yeah, for sure. And then the thing that reminded me of like Divinity is like the idea of freedom and going around and kind of creating your own story, although they didn't really imply it to the same degree as Divinity. Divinity is fucking daunting. I was playing Divinity 2 and I was like, I can do all of this?
I was playing Divinity 1. I spent like 6 hours just in that first city. Like I was
Dude,
like,
yeah, when I played Divinity 1, I never left that town. That's the
Yeah.
last part I played. Like
yeah,
I quit playing after that.
There's missions upon missions and neat shit to do in there. So
People stealing apples and shit, and I'm trying to let them fucking go away, and someone else is like, no, we're going to lob their hand off. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, so it looks really cool. Can't wait to hear more about it. I want to look up a video of like maybe more gameplay because that was, I think, a really good trailer. It showed off, what to expect from the game and combat and everything. It's like a good overall everything trailer. But I'd like to watch like maybe someone play for like 10 minutes just to see what the flow of the game looks like. But
yeah, and a lot of games that are like that, like Two Worlds 2, like Elix, like old Gothic games, like
The Witcher.
Hopefully the worlds, they play well. Like if that makes sense. Like it's not just because the problem with those games, you'll like be running and then the world, the graphics just go and just pop everything in. And you're like, fuck, you just really notice it. So hopefully it runs a little better than
yeah, they're not made as well as other games.
Yeah.
But typically there's something about those games that has a charm to it that you're not getting in other games. That's why people kind of overlook that shit. Because those games keep coming out.
That's why I like Elix a lot.
Yeah.
Because there's just, I'm like sitting here and that game really brought back like not, if you're in an area you shouldn't be in, you're going to get screwed. I think a lot of games turned away from that, which pisses me off. Because I also like going back, like, recent examples, Assassin's Creed. I went back to the beginning island to do a mission that I like left there, but everybody was there was like my level. I was like, I should be in here just wrecking everything, but that didn't happen. So
Yeah. I mean, it looks like it's gonna be one of those games for sure. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Plus the aesthetic I think is really unexplored and looks awesome.
I like it. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like a pirate game, but it's just 17th century, so which is cool. I like history.
Long
so.
trench coats and fucking there's like it's like
The fucking frilly hats.
enough so it's armored yet like seems neat.
Yeah. Anything else?
Absolutely not.
Let us know in the comments what do you think about Greedfall. What do you know about Greedfall? Let us know in the comments all the shit that you're like, you didn't even cover this. Let us know. Are you excited for this? Or you're not excited for this? You're going to pick it up? You're not going to pick it up? Do you like games like this? Do you like those kind of off-brand RPGs that I mean, I'm not saying this is going to be that, but like we're talking about, it might be one of those games that doesn't have the same polish as like a higher end AAA game, but might have something that might have quirks to it that offer you something you're not getting from, mainstream games. Let us know everything you're thinking about when it comes to Greedfall in the comments below. Last thing we're going to cover is a bit of early Gamescom information. NVIDIA did their presentation pre-Gamescom, which is happening this week. We'll be covering that all week. Where they unveiled a game from Tencent, the Chinese developer that puts out like a lot of games over there. Some here. I think they don't they own PUBG?
Yeah, I think.
Or is that somebody else? I don't fucking know.
I think they've also helped develop the Epic Game Store or something like that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so Tencent is releasing a game called Synced Off Planet. I'm going to read off IGN what they have to say about this, and then we're going to watch a video of somebody explaining it even further. So, global publishing giant Tencent has announced a brand new sci-fi shooter, Synced Off Planet, in partnership with NVIDIA. Officially unveiled at NVIDIA's showcase at Gamescom, Synced Off Planet combines survival, crafting, and base building with PvPvE experience. With up to 50 players and 1,000 corrupted human cyborgs called Nanos. It is being developed by Next Studios as part of Tencent. Synced Off Planet is centered on personal and group survival. It tasks you with preparing your group and crafting gear, as well as escorting survivors to shuttles leaving Earth. Players will... That's creepy, you're leaving Earth. Shit's bad when you gotta do that. Players will compete against each other to get off planet, but also attempt to survive against swarms of nanos, which are ex-humans turned marauding cyborgs. So it kind of sounds like DayZ, or like, if Fallout 76 was a decent game. Yeah, so we got that. We're gonna watch a video. What do you think the premise sounds like? Like, does it sound interesting?
It sounds neat. My biggest issue though is like that weird double dragon ending. Like you guys got to face off against each other.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're not like in teams the whole time and like that's the gimmick.
Yeah.
Like he's my buddy. I don't want to kill him. Because I'll X off every single one of you motherfuckers. So, without even thinking twice. So, hopefully it's not like that. And you guys are slowly maybe working against each. Somebody finds something like a spaceship part or something like that. And they don't have to tell everybody else they found it. And it's throughout the game you kind of create this PvE.
It just sounds like you're gonna be playing with your friends and other people are gonna be playing. It sounds like the Dark Zone to me.
Up to 50 players. Oh, okay,
yeah.
Okay.
So it sounds like there's gonna be a server with up to 1,000 of those nanos in the server, and then 50 people on server, and you're going to be crafting, surviving, and base building. So that reminds me of DayZ.
Yeah.
But then your objective is to get people off the planet. But there's going to be other people trying to do the same thing. So think like exporting fucking like the goods to the helicopter in the Dark Zone.
Yeah.
And then people are just waiting for you to fucking cap you while you're doing that. So I think the premise outside the PvE part sounds really neat. I'm not a big fan of trying to accomplish a mission with my friends while other people doing the same thing or looking to fuck me over because I'm just trying to have fun. If I want to do PvP, I'll just go shoot people in some kind of shooter and fucking wreck them. Yeah, so let's watch this. Hopefully this guy describes a little more to this game. We're going to see visual of the game, which I've seen already a little bit. And, ready? All right, 3, 2, 1, and go. And, by the way, this is Willis Gaming.
What's going on, everybody? Willis Gaming here. We're back again with
So make sure to go check him out if you like what he has to say.
Just popped up on Gamescom. They released the trailer and some gameplay of this game, which everyone's calling The Division in Space, and I thought I'd take a closer look at it, show you guys, see if you guys would be interested in me covering it on the channel, because it looks pretty interesting. And we're going to be taking a look at some gameplay in this video, along with, I guess, just a little mini breakdown on what the game actually is. So if you guys enjoy the video and you want to see me cover this on the channel, feel free to leave a like on this video. It'll be appreciated a lot. And subscribe.
Now, one thing NVIDIA is bringing this up
game?
for is because they are pushing
by Next Studios
ray tracing for the next gen, and so this game has ray tracing in it.
Like Fortnite, Blizzard,
and so the lighting
pretty much have stakes in
is
all of the
really
major
fucking good.
Game developers.
The first thing I noticed when I was watching a little bit of this earlier was like, holy shit, the lighting is really good. The game looks okay graphically, but the lighting is fucking next level. It's so soft and gradual.
I think this is their first big video game, so this could be interesting a lot. So what is this game? So yeah,
Getting
let's throw some gameplay in the background.
World War
like
Z
I said,
vibe.
yes,
Yeah,
this looks a lot like Division-ish gameplay. As you can see,
say
you've got,
Division,
like,
reminds
a
me of World
four-player
War Z
team.
way
It's
more.
an open world PvP, PvE game. So you're going to be fighting
Guess they mean like a cover-to-cover
NPC
shooter.
enemies. You're going to be fighting
I
other
mean,
players.
they're seeing a
It's
third-person
kind of
shooter
like
where
a
you take cover, and
massive
the
dark
first thing I
zone,
think
if
is
it were.
Division.
Now, you
But
probably noticed there are zombies. I think these are the main enemies of the game. You'll be fighting these. They'll sort of get in your way while you're fighting players as well. So what is the main goal of the game? Why are you in this open world, off-planet, strange environment? So let's break it down. So pretty much you have a team. You can explore alone or with a squad, and you need to survive in a world that has been pushed to the brink of extinction. Humanity has made advancements in nanotechnology that represent the next step in human evolution, but of course something went horribly wrong and there's zombies everywhere. Human settlements now struggle not only to survive the new dangers of the new world, but also locate transport shuttles that can take them off planet. So according to Next, the developers making the game, the studio, Synced Off Planet is built around a triangle structure of personal and group survival PvE with narrative elements, preparing your group and crafting
that
gear,
reflection's
base
really
building,
fucking
and
good.
escorting as many survivors as possible to
and
the
that
shuttles.
lighting too. Look at
leaving
that. Look
Earth.
how
And
gradual
this
it
is
is.
a
Yeah.
massive PvP PvE game. So yeah, this sounds really interesting. I'm gonna throw some screenshots.
See, they keep saying
as well
ray
in the
tracing
background.
constantly,
Like I said,
and
the
it just doesn't
environments in
mean
this game look
anything to most
insane.
people.
And as well, this
You
game
have to
is
show
being
them.
made in
Like,
partnership
look how
with
soft that
NVIDIA,
fucking
so
that
you
shadow
probably guessed
was.
it,
That
yes,
shadow
we're gonna
went
have
like
that
dark
RTX
from the foot and then
graphics with those
faded.
real-time
Like really fucking good
reflections.
looking.
The lighting, it just looks nuts. As you can see, like all of the
fucking-
reflections
the
look
reflection in
gorgeous. This game is going to look amazing on PC. But other than that, the game
I would say this is literally like one of the first like early
Obviously, you see
glimpses I
them
think we're
killing other
seeing of
players,
like
killing
next
zombies,
gen.
leveling up. You see different levels. Whether or not there's skills and
And
stuff,
games will
I'm
look
assuming
way
there will
better.
be like
But like
skills and
this,
stuff
we're
you
starting
can
to finally
use,
see some new
different unique
technology.
weapons maybe. Hopefully there's loot you can acquire. Haven't really heard much about loot, but I'm assuming you can find and pick up different
kinda
types
like
of
a
weapons.
Helldivers feel.
Yeah, I got high hopes for this
Trying
game.
to
Hopefully we
save
can
the
see
ship
more
so it can
soon
take
at
off kinda
Gamescom
thing.
or maybe in
Yeah,
the
this
future
game
at
sounds
other
kind of
events. There is no release date currently for this
hop
game, so
in,
it could
do a
come out
match
later
or
this year.
so,
Could
not
even
like
come out next year,
longevity.
or we could maybe not even
No
see it for a
longevity.
few years like we've seen.
I mean, maybe,
a lot
but
of
it seems
games do.
like you said, you hop, or like I said,
but I
you
thought I'd
hop
bring
in
it
a
to your
server.
guys' attention if it's something you'd like to
play.
see me cover on the channel. Like I said, it looks a lot like Division. You know I love those looter shooter type games. Be sure to leave a
Yeah,
like on the
I don't
video,
think it's a looter
subscribe
shooter though. I
to
think
the
it's like
channel
gonna be
if
more
you
like
want.
DayZ,
And, yeah,
where
hope
you're
you guys
collecting
enjoyed,
items and
I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.
getting more prepared to fight each other. And it's 10 cent too, so I could imagine that game probably being like $30 or free to play, even though it looks great, just to get you to play a multiplayer game.
Yeah.
Because that's, I don't know, that's what it seems like. Overall, we kind of talked over that, but for me, graphically, this game is why I looked at it. Gameplay wise, it looks interesting enough. I'm curious about it enough. We saw pretty basic third-person shooter with zombies but that are nanos, but there's still a horde running at you. There's other games like that already that are all fun. I'm sure this will be fun as well. It's also got that DayZ vibe where you're fucking fighting against other random people. I get that. But for me, I wanted to watch that just because we're finally seeing ray tracing in action, and graphically it looks great. I can't imagine, like a big AAA developer with that kind of technology doing some fucking crazy shit.
Yeah.
For next gen. This seems like a small glimpse into the future of what games are going to start looking like. Like I said, otherwise, outside of, having that NVIDIA technology that's partnered with them to make the game look fucking extra enhanced looking, it looks pretty basic as a game. So, not saying that negatively, but like, again, I'm not going to also go, the graphics are amazing. It looks like an amazing game. I'm just like, it looks good graphically. Gameplay looks fine.
Some of the parts need to, make something. Yeah.
Yeah, and I need something in that game to make me want to play it, to hook me. Otherwise, it sounds like just another online game where you're shooting at other people while trying to complete objectives.
Sounds frustrating to me.
Yeah.
Fuck. The Dark Zone is some of the most stressful fucking gaming I've ever done.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't like PvPvE.
Yeah.
I can never get into it.
Yeah, it's
Except for DayZ. I like DayZ.
There's always like, I don't know, having to watch my front and my back just constantly. I just taxes me, and to me that's just not fun. It's just I don't have fun with it, if that makes sense.
I just don't have fun.
Just don't have fun.
Anything about it that looked interesting or good?
Of course it did look great. I really liked when it showed like the pipes, those aluminum pipes.
Yeah.
How it showed it with it on. It was like literally reflective. Like it looked like they were like chrome almost.
Yeah.
You know, those showcases were really intense and cool. The gameplay though seemed very basic.
Very basic, yeah.
Very basic. The one time you saw like a special nano was that stupid big dude that was just walking and they were just backing up, just shooting him in his face, and I'm like, is he gonna do anything? Like, but then nope, he just strutted on through, and I'm like, okay, is that what he does? Like,
it looked just as good, if not as good as World War Z, which is already out right now.
Yeah.
Except for graphically, it looks better, but like gameplay wise, it looked like that game.
Yeah.
Except for it was less actiony. I mean, every once in a while there's like a group of dudes running at him, but a lot of times the guy was just up on the bus shooting a crowd that was running the opposite direction for some reason. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really mixed because, like I said, I love the way the game looks graphically. The idea is interesting, but the gameplay was kind of fucking very basic.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was. There's nothing that I see right now. There's nothing there that straight up hooks me.
Yeah.
Gameplay wise.
Yeah, I'm not interested in the game really.
Yeah, I would rather.
I'd have to see more on it when they come out. Like, show me the survival aspect. Show me the crafting.
Yeah, I would rather just look at fucking videos of the ray tracing on it than actually play in the game.
That's literally why it got my attention.
So,
because I looked out, I was like, that like looks like I'm finally seeing something that's telling me next gen's coming. Finally, because everything else just kind of looks. Because I think everything looks great this gen still. I'm still impressed by games. I saw a fucking Red Dead Redemption the other day in a video I was watching, like top Rockstar games of all time or whatever. I was like, that game still looks great. So like we're in a weird place graphically where I'm just like pretty fine.
Death Stranding's on the horizon, and that game's gonna look really
looks great.
Good.
But like then I see that I'm like, that's got technology in it that I'm not seeing in games right now.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes me go, okay, next gen is coming for sure because we got new technology. It's gonna make games look unlike what they look like now.
Now it kind of depends on what kind of rig that was running on too. Like, well, you only get that if you're on top of the top of the 100%. Top. You know, like
they're using RTX. It's using ray tracing, so it's gonna have to have the most modern technology.
Yeah, and it's a horde game, so it's not like a small little single player experience.
They've got that down though, because fucking, it's amazing how many things you can have on screen in a game nowadays.
Oh yeah.
I was playing World War Z, and it's not the best looking game, but like there's a shitload of dudes running and falling down and tripping all over the place and stuff, and I'm just watching it, no lag spikes. I'm like, it's amazing. They fucking got an engine that does
and they're
this.
not doing the same animation.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
They're all different.
I mean, even Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 back in the day was like really impressive. Hitman, Blood Money, and on they did really crazy shit with crowds. So like, it's insane how they got that technology down so quickly.
I was gonna say, man, the Mardi Gras level in Hitman was the very first time I was like, oh fuck.
It's the first time I ever saw that many people on screen.
Yeah, there's a lot of people here on screen. Exactly. I think you pulled me in there. You're like, look at how many people are on the fucking screen.
Blew my mind. And at the time, I had like a mid-tier computer, and I was still running it perfectly. And I was like, man, that's crazy. I've never seen that, and fucking, it's running great.
Then a grenade went off, and then it was like,
yeah,
fucking
shit. Yeah, because I would just start unloading the crowd and blowing shit up just to see how to like handle it and
trying to ragdoll people.
Then the game's like, well, okay, hold on, there's some physics involved here. Let me just render each person individually real quick. Let me take a breather. But yeah, overall, synced off planet. Just to surmise it a bit, you know, game looks okay. If it was any other thing that had nothing to do with the new technology, I would probably be slightly curious. But when it comes out, I'd probably either forget about it, or if I heard a lot of people talking about it, I'd look into it. I would not be surprised if it's free to play if it comes out, or cheaper, because the gameplay looks pretty minimal. World War Z was like $30 when it came out, so it makes sense if this was also $20-$30 or free. But technology wise, very excited. Really love the character models and all that shit aren't that great, but like all the shaders, all the fucking textures, all the lighting was that's just the NVIDIA technology fucking taken over. So without that on, that game would look like most games. So yeah, pretty neat in that regard. That part's got me really fucking excited. So
yeah, I would agree with that.
Anything else?
Do you think just a real quick question, do you think the trend of how like indie developers are playing with prices, because it used to be like games were like $20 or they were $60,
yeah,
and now they're starting to know their lane, like this isn't a fucking...
It's part of that, but it's also the market. There's so many games out nowadays that offer so much at different price points that you have to start playing around with what you're trying to get from people, what you think is fair, and what you're offering. Because you can get a game for like 10, 20 bucks that will fucking give you hours of fucking content. Real deep content. It's crazy. And then you got people who are charging $6, and you can only get away with charging $60 if you are offering a premium, high-end, hundreds of people worked on a game, AAA. If you charge $60 and you're not offering that, people instantly start scrutinizing it.
Yeah.
As soon as they're like $60, like fucking anything that Bethesda puts out now, people are like $60.
Yeah.
Because they're using that fucking Gamebryo engine from 1997.
Chaos Bane. I heard a.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's a game I was really excited about, but people were like, "This game does not feel finished," and it's $60, and that's why I didn't buy it. Yeah. I'll wait. You know, if it's got problems or whatever, I'll wait. And if the price goes down, I'll feel like it's more fair to pick up. Or if people are like, it's finally worth the price, I'll pick it up then. But you know, that's just a fault on the developer for charging more and people not agreeing with that price point. But I think the, like you said, there used to be like this, like there's the indie price, which is like 10 to 20 bucks. And then there's the premium price, which is 60. And now we're seeing this like not quite indie, but not quite AAA $40 price point. We sometimes get that rare $30 price point. That you normally get, like you get some really good looking games that are just shorter a lot of times for $30. It's weird. Like Hellblade was a $30 game. Yeah. That game's AAA as fuck in its production. It's fantastic looking. It's just a shorter game. It's almost like a pet project they made to tell a good story and make some money real quick.
Yeah.
But then, like, you know, those $40 games, you start getting like closer to that AAA area. You're gonna get a big in-depth game. And then around like, you know, 20 to 10 area, you're getting like roguelikes and stuff that, you know, it's going to be more, you know, pixel art, or, you know, you're not going to get a whole lot of like 3D games that are going to look that great in the $20 price point unless they have dropped the price.
Yeah. And it's a lot of self-depth to them. Like, like I think Streets of Rogue has depth to it, but that's because
in a game like that,
roguelikes.
And in a game like that, you can create depth because you're not putting as much resources into the development of assets, graphical assets. If it's all pixel art or like 2D or like really basic 3D, you can get a lot more work done on the systems in place in the game because you're putting less time into the visual style. That's why Minecraft was so fucking genius, because it allowed you so much gameplay, and it's fucking voxel box-based fucking visuals.
Yeah.
Anytime I see a game that offers promise of a lot of gameplay, but the graphics are minimal, I get excited because I know they can, anyone can tell you anything. But if a dev is working with lesser graphics, but they got big ideas, it gets me excited because I'm like, they can achieve that. That's less development time on the, you know, if a game looks fucking fantastic and they're like, we're going to add so much to this. I'm like, are you? Because every time you do, you got to put in brand new fucking assets. You got to build a brand new fucking gun. You got to build brand new character models. You got to build brand new fucking outfits. You got to get the voice actors to come in and pay them again. Like, the bigger the budget, the less I feel like you can add on to it later. That's why I get impressed with certain games like Warframe becoming so advanced for what they are, because they are good looking games, high budget games. But the developers are also like, we're going to fucking make this game better and better and better and better. Because a lot of people, like The Division 2, they're going to add new content, but not at the same rate. They're not going to make that game bigger and better and crazier and add whole gigantic new features, because that game is so high budget that most of the costs already got, you know, is already there in the full development of the game. Now they're just going to add on smaller things here and there.
It's like Path of Exile. They went from 2D to like 3D. Like,
it was always 3D, but it did look worse when it first came out. And they have sharpened the game up. It still doesn't look amazing, but it looks better than it did. But the game still has that like range of graphics that you can add content more often, because they're not spending as much time making sure that every fucking hair moves on their head and the facial animations are working. So like, they don't need to worry about that stuff.
Yeah.
They just got to fucking add new armor to the characters and stuff.
New season starts in another 3 weeks or something like that. So
does it?
Yeah.
Damn, they're
Chaos.
fucking.
They're in a Carnage, I think it's called.
They just support the hell out of the game. Yeah, no, it's a good question though.
Yeah, I always thought it was just because like we said, there's so many games out there. Like, if you can make your, even just face value, make your game pop a little bit, you're like, oh, that game's fucking like $20 cheaper.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think people are more willing to look at that than they might maybe be getting a lesser game.
Yeah.
But That price point, I mean, who can blame, you know?
Yeah, I don't even think price point dictates lesser game. I think price point typically just dictates, well, sometimes the devs want more than they really deserve or what they think is fair. They're trying to find the middle ground between what they think is fair for them to get paid and what you're willing to pay. Because even if they're like, this is a $60 game and they know no one's going to pay $60, they're not going to sell for $60 unless they're an idiot. So there's a lot of layers to that. But at the same time, there is so many fucking games out there. So you have to find the perfect price point, and that you can get full experiences at cheap price points and lesser experiences at higher price points. It is kind of the Wild West right now when it comes to pricing, because you can really charge. I've seen games for $35 when they came out. Shit, I've seen all sorts of weird fucking prices. It is just kind of a case-by-case basis of what they think their game's worth, how much time they put into it. Because like I said, the amount of game you're getting nowadays, I don't think really dictates the price point as much as the overall production, how many people worked on it. Because if you have like hundreds of people work on a game, they need to make that money back. They had to pay those fucking people. So it probably cost millions and millions and millions of fucking dollars. Whereas like if you had like 3 guys work on a game, and the game's just dope as shit, they can get away with fucking charging $20 and they'll probably make way more money off of it than a bigger company because there's less people to pay. So I mean, there's so many factors involved in the development of it. So not just the game itself, but what went into it. How many voice actors are in the fucking game? You have to pay all of them.
That's Stardew Valley. I mean, that was just made by one dude.
One dude, no voice acting, cheaper assets. You know, it's all fucking. It's got a visual charm to it. It's got its own style, and he did all that. And it's fucking awesome. But it is just a 2D fucking pixel game. So it allows him to get more crazy with the systems. So that's a great example of what I was saying earlier about, like, you know, when I see a game that looks like that and they promise a lot, typically I believe them because you can do it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Should probably cut this short though. Get this ended. You got anything else to bring up?
Unlock the sandals in Dead Cells. Don't be a pussy.
All right, let us know in the comments. Do you have the sandals unlocked in Dead Cells? Are you a pussy? Are you not a pussy? Do you have them not unlocked? Give me a good argument for that. I get it completely, but argue with him. Let him know. And what do you think about Synced Off Planet? Does it look cool to you? Does it look like Division in space to you? Does it look like World War Z, Left 4 Dead? What do you think about ray tracing? Do you think the graphics looked good, not good? Are you excited for that? Are you excited for next gen? Are you going to play Synced Off Planet? And what do you think it's going to cost? Do you think it's going to be a full price game, mid tier, or free to play? And yeah, let me know everything you're thinking about when it comes to Synced Off Planet and ray tracing. But that's going to do it for this episode of TastyCast, episode 99. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook at Tasty Gaming. Check out my streams on Twitch and YouTube at Tasty Senpai, all one word. That's me over on Twitch. When I stream here, you'll see it, hopefully. And yeah, hit the notification button to know when I go live. We have a Discord link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. And we're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you'd prefer to listen to us. My name's Seth.
I'm Josh.
Until the next episode, which should be Taste Tuesday. Hopefully we got Gamescom shit to talk about because news has been kind of lame lately. But until then, have a good week, guys, and take it easy.